Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. I am fashionably late, but I am here and I am really excited about giving this today because this is something that is actually very common in many athletes. But disordered eating and red S, known as relative energy deficiency in sport, can actually be the fuel in the fire. Fuel in the fire, very funny. That can really start to ignite this. So that's what I'm going to go into detail about today, about what exactly is adrenal fatigue, what are some of the signs and the symptoms, how red S and disordered eating actually contribute to the problem overall, what are some of the things that you can do to modify your training, do you have to stop altogether? Well, I will go into that and how to modify your nutrition as well, and also how we can work together to really see what's going on cellularly and metabolically in your body so that we can get you performing your best and really feeling your best too. All right, so with that, I just want to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Drew Mulvey. I'm a certified dietitian nutritionist. I'm a board certified nutrition specialist and certified integrative sports nutritionist, specializing in disordered eating and autoimmunity in female athletes in particular. I am a certified leap therapist, which is a specific food sensitivity protocol based off of mediator release testing. It's about 92% accurate and specific for these particular sensitivities and has been monumental for athletic performance and decreasing any sort of inflammatory conditions, which that's what autoimmune conditions are in general. They're inflammatory conditions. I'm also a precision nutrition level 1 coach, which is more of a holistic approach to your nutrition as well as your exercise and everything else. And I am a certified personal trainer through the National Academy of Sports Medicine, and I do personal train here in Southbury. If you are looking for a personal trainer and you're around the area, I would love to speak with you. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? What is adrenal fatigue? We kind of throw that around a lot. And I want to go back to what the inspiration for this is. You could be treating something that you could be treating the wrong thing. Let's just put it that way. So with adrenal fatigue, there are going to be different stages and different things are happening at those different stages. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, because you could think that you have one problem and then you actually have a separate problem, which you need to do something a little bit different with. So that's what the inspiration behind this is. Also, what is one of the things that, as I was saying before, what's one of the things that can really fuel the fire is red S and disordered eating. So let's talk a little bit about what red S is, and we know about disordered eating, but red S is relative energy deficiency in sport. So that's basically saying that you're not meeting the energy demands of your body for your sport. So you're not fueling properly. And what that does to your body is it's increasing a hormone known as cortisol. Now, cortisol, when it is in the acute stage, can be very beneficial. In fact, cortisol can be used to actually heighten the immune system in a good way and make you more immune to things. It can help you to shut down unnecessary processes so that when you are actually working out, you can do what you need to do. And your body is providing that actual fuel for you to be able to carry out what you're doing. It's also really important for protein or muscle protein synthesis, and it's very important for fat metabolism as it actually works on hormone sensitive lipase to break down fats into fatty acids to be used as energy. So yes, cortisol can be very beneficial in the short term. Also, it's important for your brain function. It's important for energy and stamina. Oh, please, if you don't have energy and stamina, you are just miserable, let alone you're not doing well in your sport. So cortisol in and of itself is not a bad thing. And plus it's an anti-inflammatory too. So what do you think happens when you don't have cortisol? Wait, I'm jumping ahead. So I'm getting ahead of myself. But the problem lies where the cortisol is elevated for an extended amount of time. Now, that can be from not eating enough, and this is really common in disordered eating. Now, you throw that in with the fire of perfectionism, OCD, low self-esteem, hyper-discipline, type A personality, not taking advice from anybody, not sleeping enough, being super stressed out with things going on around you. you have a perfect storm just culminating in your system, and your cortisol levels are just being jacked up. So what happens when your cortisol levels are jacked up for a long extended period of time? That's when your adrenals are basically saying screw you, and your cortisol, it's just basically shooting out the cortisol at elevated rates. So what exactly happens? You're not maintaining muscle tone. Your immune system starts to dysfunction because cortisol is shutting down unnecessary processes in your body, which are necessary to live. You're in fight or flight. That's what fight or flight is. You are not thinking properly. So cortisol not only can eat up the muscle, but can eat up parts of your brain cells. So you want to make sure that you're managing that. Cortisol, also, when elevated, you're not going to be sleeping properly. And sleep is one of the most beneficial things for your body to recover. No, so here's an interesting fact, and I've said this before. Melatonin's not just responsible for you sleeping well, but it's also a potent anti-inflammatory. So if you're not sleeping well and you're not producing melatonin appropriately, then you are not going to be recovering properly. So that's really, really important. Plus, elevated cortisol, there are other hormones in our body. Those are known as sex hormones. For the women, it's estrogen and progesterone. For the men, it's testosterone. When cortisol levels are elevated for extended periods of time, it actually shunts away the production of estrogen and progesterone and testosterone in men. And that's when you start seeing menstrual irregularities. That's when you start seeing the estrogen belly in men, because that's the androgen in them. So yes, women, we do have testosterone. It's actually very important for us to have testosterone because it's important for energy, and it's also important for maintaining lean body mass. And plus, testosterone really does help us to cope with stress a little bit better. I mean, we as women, oh my gosh, we tend to internalize a lot, but we do need that testosterone. And your testosterone, once it's, that's, all right, I'm getting ahead of myself again. Okay, so cortisol levels being high. That is the alarm stage where your body is saying, all right, just stop, 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 stop. And also, you stop losing weight. You just start to feel very puffy because you're actually retaining fluid. Then your body's like, all right, whatever, I can't even meet with the demands anymore, and it stops producing cortisol. Now you think, oh, this is a good thing, right? Because you just said cortisol is actually bad for me if it's elevated over extended periods of time. Well, think about what cortisol actually does in the acute. It helps you to focus and to be alert. It helps you to actually have energy and stamina. It helps to break down fats for energy. It helps with immunity. So what's going to happen when you don't have proper cortisol levels? You're going to be getting sick a heck of a lot more. Actually, respiratory infections are one of the most common in endurance athletes because they're really putting in a lot of miles. I mean, especially if you're an Ironman triathlete or half Ironman triathlete, or, a marathon runner or even a cross country runner. It's actually very, very common. You're you're not going to have any energy. You will be tanked because cortisol actually, so there's a nice rhythm of cortisol that you have through the day. And in the morning, you have it peaked because you need to be awake and alert. You're up in the morning, so that's when you're getting things done. And then it peaks kind of like around lunchtime, and then it starts going down so that you can sleep at night. So yes, we don't um, we need cortisol. Let's just put it that way. I don't know what I was trying to say. But we need cortisol. So think about that just like this, or like going like, meh. You will not have energy or stamina or even motivation for anything. And at that point, other things can be an issue. Inflammation might not be taken care of, so then you're not going to be recovering. Then joint pain can come in. Then insomnia can even get worse because if you're at a point where cortisol levels are too low, then you can't sleep either. It's fun. Actually, what happens is sometimes it actually like just red lines and then it goes whoop at night. That's really fun. It's like your circadian rhythm gets completely thrown off. So if you keep pushing, I have to tell you, at this point, your body's going to stop you before you can even stop. It's going to slow you down. You're not going to be able to read as fast. You're not going to be able to comprehend as fast. The things that you used to be able to do at the drop of a hat, you cannot do anymore because your body is completely tanked. And with this, there are several nutrients that have been completely tanked with it. Now, with that, that also risks other things that could be in the future for you. It's not only that you're not producing muscle tone, but you're not able to function for work, and you're not able to function for school. It eventually starts to you start have issues with heart and brain, and the joint pain continues. So there's actually 4 different stages. There's the alarm stage, and there's the second stage, then there's the third stage where your body's just like, okay, well, screw it. I'm just not even going to produce cortisol anymore. So what is going to happen when you get to those points? Now, there are some modifications that you do have to make, and that doesn't mean that you have to stop. Well, it depends on how, if you are redlining, then you have to take a break. You really have to take a break, but I will talk about that. So if your cortisol levels are elevated, then incorporating some different training into your routine. So you can definitely still strength train, maybe resting a little bit more so that the cortisol isn't being jacked up. Incorporating some Pilates in there, incorporating some nature walks, such as hiking, because when you're going outdoors, it's not only, well, the pine trees in particular actually emit compounds so that your body decreases its inflammation, and it's also increasing well-being. Plus, being outdoors in the sun actually helps you to produce serotonin as well, so it makes you happy. You can still do moderate aerobic exercise. Now, there are different heart rate zones, zone 1, zone 2. There's 5 different heart rate zones. Now, zone 1 and zone 2 are kind of like the easiest. You actually, I would say probably checking out what the heart rate zones are. How you figure that out is by percentages. You take 220 and then take away your age, and then that's going to be your max heart rate. And then the zones are equivalent to a certain percentage of that maximum heart rate. So zone 1, I believe, is below 60%. Zone 2 is like 60 to 75%. And then zone 3 is like 75 to 85%, I want to say, of your max heart rate. If I got that wrong, I will look that up again. But still, you need to be making sure that you're monitoring your heart rate at that point so that you're not going overboard, because when you are at an increased heart rate for an elevated amount of time, you're going to keep producing that cortisol. So you need to take it back a little bit. Okay, I'm not necessarily promoting that you stick with multiple high intensity exercises. I don't recommend that over the course of multiple days. But incorporating some carbohydrates do help to decrease cortisol levels. So they are our friends. Other ways that you can decrease cortisol levels: making sure that you're going to bed on time, making sure that you're having a good bedtime routine so that the EMF that's emitted from our electronics actually can, well, it's stimulating, right? And it may even potentially increase white blood cell count, so inflammatory protein. So very important that you have a nice bedtime routine, that any sort of, I shouldn't say that, but that you are allowing your body to actually rest and heal. I mean, for me, I turn my phone off at 8 p.m. I am reading or I am doing something. If I have not done that, I will feel it the next day because I have a hard time sleeping. So, welcome to being a sensitive individual. All right, so some of the modifications that you can make: incorporating some moderate walking, swimming. You could incorporate biking outside. That's one of my favorite things to do. You can incorporate, I've been incorporating Pilates as well, but things that are really, really enjoyable. So that does not mean that if you have adrenal fatigue that you have to stop altogether. Now, when your cortisol has started to tank, things are going to be a little bit different. Absolutely no HIIT workouts whatsoever because your body can't even produce cortisol to be able to function for that workout. And you're going to go for long periods of time because your body's not able to fully recover. So with that, can you strength train? Yes, you can still strength train because you need to be able to maintain that lean body mass. You can incorporate any sort of resistance training. There's two different ways that you can do this. You can do more lower weights and a little bit more like, kind of steady state, resting a bit, or you can do a little bit heavier, but you just need to make sure that there is much more rest time so that your body is fully recuperated for that next step. Also, when it comes to cardiorespiratory or cardio that you're going to be doing, it's very important that you keep your heart rate below 140. So nothing above zone 2. That would be walking. For some, that could be like light jogging, but really walking. Walking out in nature is going to be very important. So with that, what are some of the things that you need to do nutritionally and some of the nutrients that you need in order to be able to function properly when you have adrenal fatigue? Well, there is tyrosine, there is vitamin C, and there are B vitamins as well. Tyrosine is very important for the production of your thyroid hormone, and that's actually at the beginning of the whole entire process. So I'll go backtrack. So adrenaline and noradrenaline, that's also technically like another name for cortisol. So if you're not really producing that effectively, you have to think about the whole entire pathway. And tyrosine, it starts with phenylalanine, then it goes to tyrosine. So tyrosine is actually at the beginning of that pathway in particular. So incorporating some tyrosine in there to really get that pathway moving, as well as other nutrients that are in there that are going to be beneficial for actually helping you to go through. B vitamins are going to be very important for you. So B vitamins in particular, B1, B2, B3 are incredibly important for your energy production. And B6, B12, and folate are necessary for methylation, which is important for protecting your genetic material, but it's also important for taking things out of your body that aren't supposed to be there, just taking things, some of those compounds out of there that have been generated from several oxidative stress, from being under oxidative stress, or even from intense exercise too. So it's really important that you're clearing that out. B6 I do want to cover in particular because B6 is very important for hormonal balance. It's very important for the production of vitamin B3, which I just said that is really important for energy production. And it is also very important for the production of serotonin and melatonin. And I just said melatonin is an anti-inflammatory. So again, with that, another thing that you can incorporate, you're going down the line. B6 is going to be important for the production of noradrenaline and adrenaline, as well as vitamin C. So vitamin C, we think it's important for our immunity, right? It's a very potent antioxidant, but vitamin C is needed for the production of adrenaline and noradrenaline. So if you're not producing that noradrenaline properly, or if your body is just kind of freaking out and overproducing it, then it's kind of depleting the vitamin C stores. So repleting the vitamin C in there, that can be done through some green leafy vegetables. They're a really great source of vitamin C. Camu, kiwis are a great source of vitamin C, as well as oranges. Now, there has been some talk about oranges being contraindicated during adrenal fatigue just due to their sugar content. But honestly, you feel it out and feel what is best for you and how you function. All right, so I think I have given you everything. So what are some of the things that we can do if we work together? I have found these things out by testing. You could actually be treating high cortisol when you have low cortisol. So it's very important that you're kind of seeing what's going on in your body, why you're not producing energy properly, what nutrients you need. Because if you don't know and you don't test, then, as I said, you could be treating the wrong thing. So with that, I am here to be able to walk you through this and to modify the nutrition, to modify the training, as well as really get you back in the shape that you were in before by checking what's going on with your hormones, by checking what's going on with your energy pathways. So that is what we would be doing together. And if that sounds like something that you would really like, also if you feel that disordered eating is an issue, then I would recommend seeing a medically licensed professional, psychiatric professional, so that you can just get some counseling, have some help, along with let's work together to see what exactly your energy needs are. All right, so just to kind of a recap is how red S and disordered eating can lead into this is that you're not fueling your body properly, and then you throw in all the other stressors in life and then internal stressors as well, which can be some of the most pro-inflammatory things that you can throw into the fire, which eventually your body is just so jacked up on cortisol, it's creating that fatigue, and you're not increasing your energy and stamina. You're not able to sleep well. You're just not able to function properly. And that's what's leading to these different stages of adrenal fatigue. It first starts out with high cortisol levels, and then it eventually goes to low cortisol levels. Then from there, you need to be able to modify your workouts and modify your training as well as your nutrition, and these are some of the important nutrients that you can add in. Now, I do want to say please talk to your medical doctor because tyrosine is contraindicated in certain conditions, particularly those with Hashimoto's who might be already on a medication and those who have migraines. There are several other things that are contraindicated as well, so please speak to a licensed health professional before making these decisions. All right, well, I believe that I covered everything. Again, my name is Drew Mulvey. I'm a certified dietitian nutritionist and board certified nutrition specialist and certified integrative sports nutritionist, specializing in female athletes with disordered eating as well as autoimmunity. I am a certified personal trainer, which I train here in Southbury. I'm a certified lead therapist, which is a specific food sensitivity protocol based off of mediator release testing. It's about 92% accurate and specific for those particular mediators. That it has been so beneficial for athletic performance as well as any sort of inflammatory condition. I've seen absolutely amazing results. I am also a precision nutrition level 1 coach, which is more holistic sports nutrition, and I really work close with youth and young adult female athletes to really transform their relationships with food, to empower them to make the right choices on how to fuel their body and to really ignite their true athletic potential. And if that sounds like you, I would absolutely love to work with you, and please be sure to sign up for your icebreaker call so we can get you achieving your goals and really making sure that you are functioning in the best way possible. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping in today, and I look forward to seeing everybody next Friday. Have a happy weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.